live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right.
On to the real.
All right.
Bill Mayew.
Yes. Listen.
So when you told me his name, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you said his name last night,
when
we were having this meeting, I was trying to figure out. So I think I looked up the wrong person.
Okay.
And so I'm looking up, who is Bill Mayew,
Mm-hmm.
and I see all different types of people
older
that ended up coming up.
Right.
The first person I saw was like some executive for, he's the chief technology officer of Benefit Express, and I'm like,
no,
this ain't the person we talking about. Is
no, no. Did you find him?
I did find him.
Okay.
But he is his name is Billy Mitchell Mayew, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe
so. He's a coach in the state of North Carolina of a wrestling team.
Mm-mm. Hold on, because it's on my phone is the problem, so I'm having to look him up.
Oh, see, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not. No, that's not. Hold on. So he goes by William J. Mayew.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I guess he was Bill when he was younger.
I really went to the wrong person.
Yeah. So the person that we're talking about is, I'm going to hold on one second. So the problem, y'all, is last week the reason the podcast got cut short is because I'm having problems with my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am using my phone, which is where I usually keep all my notes and keep everything that I'm gonna talk about. Mm-hmm. And so, since I cannot get to my phone with my notes, I'm having to try to on the fly look it up. And so, but anyway, this young man was a forward for the University of North Carolina at Wilmington.
That's right. Okay.
So he played basketball, and now he is he is at Duke in the business school there.
Mm-hmm.
He is so hold on. He also I think he does coach. It's funny you say that. He coaches executives, and he talks about how he is one that does a lot of what am I trying to say? Like motivational speeches,
mm-hmm.
Around the idea of someone being the parallels between athletics,
okay,
and being a coach or educator. That is kind of his platform that he talks around. And so I thought that was cool because it is a lot like what we are, basically. Our love of sports, your playing of sports. I mean, I played sports, but I wasn't to the point of where you were. And how what that's led to for us, essentially, being educators and coaches. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm not a coach of an actual sports team, I'm still a coach.
Right. And
so I feel like that. I just thought it was interesting that he, talked about that. And why can't I find, like, I'm still looking, y'all, because I really want to, like, tell you his whole background, but I can't find it. I don't know why it won't come up, but yeah, he is at the Fuqua School of Business at Duke University.
Okay. So I do remember us discussing that last night, and when I searched it, the whole Duke School of Business, I just keyed in on the North Carolina part. So when that pulled up, I was looking through and I was like, "Hey, this is him, right?" Because the first person I pulled up, I was like, "Oh, no, this is them."
Yeah, it's a lot of older men with the same name.
Yeah,
and it's Mayew. That's probably why. It's Mayew. Mayew. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I put the H in there.
Yeah, Mayew. And so, he's a teacher there. His reached corporate financial reporting, management, communication, and financial information. Those are the things that I'm like, hey, I love when I see, we've talked about this before, when I see these guys and they know who they are outside of, the sport. I imagine you had to know before you left school that this is the direction that your life was going in, because you didn't go to a D1 school.
Mm-hmm.
So I just is a professor of accounting at Duke University. Yep. Okay, here we go. He is mandatory. I'm sorry, y'all. This is so ghetto on my part. But like I said, I'm used to my phone. So it's like, this is like, I can't use my phone. I'm like, oh, everything's on my phone. Like literally, I saved all my notes to my phone. So I'm gonna fix it the next week. But yeah, he is our onto the real this week, just because he's he's gone on to. I mean, he's got books he's written. Like I just like the idea that you go on and you do something that you love outside of the sport, and you do well at it. That's our whole thing. That's always what we're talking about. We always talk about that. That's the big thing. He's PhD. He got his PhD in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm good. We got 4 feel good final
we got
thoughts.
4.
So I'm not really stressing about finding any more information about you, William, but I really just want to say kudos to you for going on and doing something with your life that's going to benefit people across the board, like in such a positive way. Even just being able to share who you were, as a college athlete, and then bringing that to the point where you can merge that with what you do now. I just think it's amazing.
And
those are stories I'm always love.
In business at a school like Duke,
that's what popped out to me. I think when I was looking, I was like, Duke.
I'm actually surprised though that being a graduate of UNC, he accepted the position at Duke.
I know, right?
It would take some real soul searching if Hampton University called me tomorrow and said, we have a position for you.
You'll go. I ain't worried about that. You'll be like, you know what? Ain't you, but I'm gonna see you. Yep, you sure will.
Shout out to Bill Mayew. Feel good final
thoughts
today.
Thoughts today. Yes.
And our first one is the person that we were supposed to do last week, Mr. Josh Speidel.
Yeah, that's cool.
And this story is just intriguing from the standpoint of just Vermont, which is the school that he is about to graduate from, I believe. Mm-hmm. Vermont doing everything to stick by this young man after he was in a near fatal car crash. His road to recovery was really long, about 5 years. And the reason why I was our feel good final thought is because just a few weeks ago, before NCAA basketball shut down, he was able to score his very first point of his basketball career, his NCAA basketball career, after suffering injuries that he was told wouldn't allow him to play basketball ever again.
Right.
And some of the things that just surrounding this makes me feel so great. For those of you who know my story about how I ended up at Howard University, my scholarship was rescinded by a school that will remain nameless. For those of you who know. But my scholarship was rescinded because they believed that my shoulder injury would prevent me from being able to be a good player. And to see that the University of Vermont, even after he suffered this catastrophic injury, continued to stick by him, continued to give him his scholarship, and made him feel a part of the team by placing his nameplate in his permanent locker.
Yeah.
In the center where University of Vermont plays is just remarkable. And as much as, we have to point out Josh Speidel in being able to come back from a catastrophic injury, we should also point out the University of Vermont for doing some might not even consider it the right thing. It might not have been the best business decision, but it was the most human decision. And to see schools make these types of decisions lets you know that there's still some humans out here.
Right.
There's still some human beings out here. And so shout out to Josh, his family, and the University of Vermont for just this story, because we always talk about how we choose our feel good final
I can't
thoughts.
stop smiling, so I guess that's the key.
Yeah. So this was definitely one that, what I'm saying, made me, it was a feel good.
Yeah,
feel good story.
Absolutely. I just remember seeing the video of him like getting out on because he's still, because of the injury and how catastrophic it was, like he's still not 100%. Like he probably never will be again. This is his best version of himself, his new self now. And so, his walking is labored and, but he got out there and there was this,
he scored that basket.
He scored that basket.
He scored that basket.
Just the smile on his face.
Yeah.
Was.
You can see it was a dream fulfilled.
Yes. Like,
I'm sure at the onset of this.
You didn't know when you, especially at that age, you never think about mortality or something like this happening to you to where you won't be able to do what you assumed you were going to be able to do. And so to still be able to live that out, even if it's one play. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Good stuff.
All
okay.
Right.
Number two.
Now, when I first saw this, because you sent it to me, I saw Browns and automatically thought the Cleveland Browns had hired a woman as their quarterback's coach. And I got super excited because I was like, we've seen all of these reports about the NFL and the amount of opportunity that's been given to females to coach in the NFL. So I was like, an actual full-time position as a position coach. Not just an offensive analyst or a defensive analyst or something like that, but an actual position coach was just like, But then I saw it was Brown University, and I still was super excited because we haven't heard about many women coaching in college football.
That's what it was for me. Because we talked about this, that's why I sent it to you. Because I'm like, wait, I don't know of it. I don't know. Maybe they just don't tell those stories. But I don't know of any female coaches.
I don't know of any either.
Not in the collegiate level, no. And then for it to be, So it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool myself.
So her name is Heather Marini. Like we said, she is the quarterback coach of Brown University.
That's huge.
And she is the very first full-time position coach in major college football. So
that we
we gotta give it up to her.
I can listen now. I got to go follow Brown whenever college football.
Right.
Because I'm just curious to see, and every skill position, every coach is important. Every skill position coach is important. But to be the quarterback's coach,
yes.
Come on now. Yeah. That's the bread and butter of the team.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, Okay, ma'am. Do you then? I love it. They're giving us all kind of content for Women's History Month.
Right.
Yes.
And it looks like, in looking at her story, it looks like she played football in the Women's Football League. So she is not unfamiliar with the game of football. Sorry for using two negatives in one sentence.
You must really have a lot of people who are into English and then literature.
No. It's because I use so many words and people make fun of the fact that I use words. If I ever mess one up, it's the end of the world.
That's a lot of pressure, Jarrett. I'm sorry.
It is.
Okay.
And then they make reference to the PhD and like, we thought you were smart.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow.
But no.
Okay. But yeah.
Shout out to Heather Marini. You know, this is huge. This is huge news. I don't think this should get lost in the blanket of the story about the coronavirus and about other sports topics that have kind of blanketed the sports landscape over the last week or so. So we wanted to give you your roses, Miss Marini.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
just shout you out because this is a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. All right. Number 3.
On to the next
feel good final
thought.
Yes.
This story I thought was amazing. And as a matter of fact, like we could just lump all of these in. Yeah. And we could talk about the people that we heard. One of the things that I thought has been just a great story over the last week with all of these leagues shutting down is that some of these players have been stepping up in a big time way by lessening the financial burden of others. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if these players get paid if games aren't being played, but some NBA players, some NFL owners, and I believe players from other leagues that I just can't name right now have stepped up and said, those people who will be out of work that are full-time employees for these teams and these organizations, they will pay their salaries while they're not working. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's so awesome. Yeah,
Rudy Gobert started it because
he needed to start it. Out there touching all the mics and recorders. With your infected self. I'm just playing. Listen, I was just talking about that the other day. That is 100% something I would do. And I get that it's childish, and you know how I make jokes all the time.
Right.
That's 100% something I would do, and so I couldn't be too hard on Rudy Gobert. And I know that Donovan Mitchell, thankfully, he's starting to get over it and not be so upset with him. But I'm sure I would have had people upset with me in that way.
Oh yeah.
For not taking that thing that serious.
Right.
Which I'm sure other people had done as well. But
of course,
his was
it wasn't just him. We wouldn't have a pandemic if people were taking it seriously.
Exactly.
So, no.
Right.
But he was the first one to step up and say, listen, this is kind of my fault. Mm-hmm. So for all of the people that are a part, and it wasn't just, because I feel like a lot of the full-time employees are salaried. Right. So they're getting paid anyway. But those people who work there, like
the hourly employees,
people who are there just for, events and making sure that things are running smooth. Those are the people that I think that a lot of their monies are going to.
Right.
Helping the people who won't get anything if they're not at work.
Right.
So I thought that, and like Steph and Aisha with the whole meal thing, like to your point about we're seeing people be human.
Yeah.
This is the human side of sports.
Yeah.
That we rarely get to see.
Right.
These people do stuff like this all the time.
Right.
But they don't talk about it. But because we're in this situation right now and there's nothing else to talk about.
Right.
They don't have a choice but to talk about this. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it's awesome that they are stepping up to the plate. and providing these families and these kids with what they need and during this time that's so crazy for everybody. So yeah. And then you had one in particular.
Yeah.
That you brought to my attention. I didn't know.
Before we get to the NFL owner,
okay.
Let's also shout out Zion Williamson, who said he would do the same for the Pelicans.
Yeah. It's a whole bunch of them that have said that now. Like, you probably need to go find the whole list. Because at this point, I believe somebody, I want to say somebody for every team just about has stepped up and said, we're going to do this, this, and this for these people. So, shout out to all of them. Like,
with all the money that John Wall has been stealing, I bet he better go pay the Wizards full-time employees some. I'm sorry, I didn't have to say that, did I?
I didn't hear that. I don't know. Like, oh, not stealing, Jesus. Okay, well, okay.
Okay. I'm back, guys. I'm sorry. It's the Roni.
Y'all, we in the house too long.
That's I know. But no.
Oh God.
But the person that I told you, I know that you have a great love for this man.
Yes.
And his heart for the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mr. Arthur Blanks is the first owner out of any major sport that I heard of. I can't say that he was the first to do it, but it's the first owner that I heard of that says all of my hourly employees, my full-time hourly employees will be paid during this time. Mm-hmm. And for billionaires who don't like to lose money and who don't like to give money away, for one of them to come out and do something like this again shows that we still have some human beings left in this world.
And he's different.
Yeah.
He's just different. Like he is. I think Mark Cuban has come out and said, I want to say Mark Cuban. That has said he would do the same. But Arthur Blank is just different because he's unlike most. He is that billionaire who don't have no problem with giving away his money. Yeah, he is that dude. Like real talk. So, shout out to you, all of you who have stepped up to the plate. The human side of you to know that while you probably aren't going to get to do what you love, you still not going to not go without. Right. And say, but somebody else will, and I need to step up to the plate to help that person is amazing. Yeah. And yes, for me, Arthur Blank, listen, he is the reason why I will continue to be a Falcons fan, honestly. Yeah. Him and Julio. Yeah, but yeah, well, I'm just saying, yeah. So
you don't get rid of Julio.
So.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That did not come out of his mouth. We are rebuking and taking that back right now. Okay? Yes. So, yeah. So, Arthur Blank is an amazing guy. He's got amazing man. He's got a beautiful heart, beautiful spirit. Not just with his money, with just him and the way he treats the players and the coaches and just an all-around good dude. And so, special shout out to you, Mr. Blank, for stepping up as an owner, like you said, because not a lot of them who have been willing to do so, at least that we have heard, who have been willing to do so. Because when we get down to the nitty-gritty, these players are coming out of their pockets to take care of these people, but y'all make more money than they do. Yeah. So for you all to be stepping up, for him to step up to the plate is huge. So shout out to you. Shout out to all of you. To the people who are being forced to not work because of this in the sporting industry, we praying for y'all. We praying for a supernatural sweep and just this be over. Yeah. Quickly so that people can get back to life and making sure that they take care of their families. Real talk. Yeah. That's it. For real. We laughed and joked at the beginning, but for real, because we understand the severity of how this is affecting people. And so, yeah, that's our prayer, is that it's quick, swift, and we get back to work.
Get back to, yeah. Well, we at the end of another one.
All right.
This is like looking at the time, it felt like it kind of went by fast, but this was a nice lengthy episode.
Good. We said it was going to be, but y'all at home. It's okay.
Right, y'all chilling. Listen, some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to are 2 and 3 hours long. So
yeah,
as long as the content's there,
that's it. Listen, y'all like hearing us yap, then we got you. Okay.
Right. But as always, we appreciate you guys. We thank you for listening every week. Yeah. Please interact with us on social media. I
don't know how else to beg. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, I don't know. Like, really.
Just when you see one of them who's really right graphics come up.
Listen, because Stephanie is not that person, but I make it happen. Social media is not my thing, but I make it happen.
And I'm super trash at it, which is why Stephanie had to step back in and take back over because, Lord, I'm awful at it. Please interact with us. When you see one of those graphics come up, just say Jarrett or Stephanie, or what the instructions say, excuse me, about who's really right. We appreciate the likes on the picture. We certainly do. But we also want you to interact with us a little bit more. If you want to hit us on Twitter, do that. If you want to, give us some feedback or some critique, you can comment on our videos on YouTube, which I'm starting to see more and more people do. Okay. You can comment on those videos on YouTube, or you can send us an email, fieldtothereal@gmail.com, and it will be much appreciated.
Yeah. So what are they saying? I'm sorry.
Somebody said today for the Spike Lee episode of last week's episode, they were like, amazing. I believe I'm paraphrasing. It was like amazing content. Keep up the good job.
Oh, good. Awesome.
So I really appreciate that. I don't know the name of the person who said it.
Yeah.
I should. You know what? Let me look.
Yeah, that'll help if we start shouting out.
Right, shouting people out.
Yeah.
The Comical Canadian. Amazing video. Keep up the amazing work.
Awesome.
So we appreciate. We certainly appreciate everybody who follows, listens, interacts. Just continue to keep rocking with us. Yeah. And we certainly love and appreciate you for it.
Absolutely. Everybody.
Yeah. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. Stay safe, everybody.
Peace.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.